So now that we have installed Parrot OS, I'm gonna explain how to use the basic functionality for Linux, and I will be focusing on what is more necessary for hacking. I'm gonna explain the concept between graphical user interface and command line interface first. So if you go up here, you can see a icon. This is called the terminal. It says the mate terminal. When you open this, you can see the command line interface. So the command line interface is basically the interface in which you can interact with the shell. So you can interact with the system through commands. When you press on on this button, you will see something which is similar to the File Explorer from Windows, and through this we can browse the system through the graphical user interface. So these has graphics, and these are just commands. I'm gonna hold Control, Shift, and the plus key, which is next to the backspace, to make the interface bigger, so it's more readable through the video. Okay, so we can interact with the system using commands through the terminal. One command that I'm gonna show you now is the ls command. The ls command stands for lists, and it will show you the folders. So the directories, it's called directories in Linux, which is equivalent to folders in Windows. So when we press ls, you can see the same directories which you can see here, but this shows it in the command line interface, and this shows it in the graphical user interface. Now the ls command has multiple options, which I'm gonna show you. You can use the ls --help to show what option the ls has. If we scroll up here, we can see the various options which can be used by entering a dash and then the name, or the option name. So as you can see, the -d lists directories themselves, not their contents. And there are many options for the ls command. Another way to see or get help for a command is the man, which stands for manual, and then the command you want more information for. So when you type in man for manual and then ls, you also get an overview of all the options. And to exit this interface, as you can see, we can't do anything. We are stuck in this interface. And to exit this, you can press Q on the keyboard, and it should go back to the command line, or back to the shell. So that is how you can get more information about a command. Now, one of the more useful options for ls for ethical hacking are the -la, which we will be using a lot. I will explain what the L option does. So when we press ls-l, we can see we get a different format for the directories. The most useful information we get from here is the first option, which is D, which stands for is it a file or directory? And we can see that this is a directory, the desktop directory, and followed by the permissions for the directory. As we can see, we have the first one is the user permission. So this is basically RWX, which stands for read, write, and execute. And then you get another read, write, execute, and then another read, write, execute. But because this, when you see a stripe here, it means we do not have that specific permission. So we do not have write access, and here we also don't have write access. Now, the first set of RWX is the permissions for the user. It means that we have full permissions on this with our current user. And this is the group permission. So let's say you were a member of the group, which can access. It will not have write access, and the last set of read write X means the global, so everyone else on the system also doesn't have write permissions on this folder. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, this we can see here hacker. This means the user who has access to this directory, and this is the group. When we type in another very important command, which is who am I, when you type who am I, you can see which user you are logged in with. So we can see we are logged in with the hacker user, so we do have access to this desktop as the user. And we can see we have read, write, execute rights to this folder. So we have full permissions on this directory. And who am I is also a important command to know for ethical hackers, because when you get into a system, you will not always have full access to the system. In Linux, the equivalent to the administrator user, so the administrator user in Windows can do everything he wants to the system, and the equivalent to that in Linux is the root user. So when you get into a system, you will always use who am I to see if you are logged in as the root user or not. And also it's useful for information like this to see how many permissions you have to specific folders. Now the other option, which is ls-a, -a stands for all, and let's say we have a hidden directory or a hidden file. It will also show us the hidden folders. As you can see, the hidden file and folders in Linux starts with a dot, and now it shows us more directories and folder and files, which we could not see with the normal ls without the -a option. And to get the optimal information, we can combine this -l for long, and we can combine a to get a combination of the two commands. And now it shows us the hidden folders with the extra information. Okay, so now that we have covered how to show the directories and see the user you are logged in with, I'm going to show you how to change directories. But before that, I will explain the concept of the absolute path and the relative path. So when we press another command, I will show you another command, which is pwd, which stands for print working directory. You can see the path of the folder we are currently in, and this will show it as the absolute path. So I'm gonna open a text editor. In Linux, the file system works as follows. You have the first directory, which contains all the directories, which are all in the slash folder. So when you type slash, this is the absolute path. This is the first directory. Inside of slash, there's a directory called home. And inside of this directory, there is a directory called hacker. In Linux specifically, the home directory is where all the user home directories are stored. So when we type in cd /home, this is a absolute path to the home directory. If we go here and press ls, we can see all the user folders, but because we have only created one user, we can only see the hacker user folder in here. And if we type in cd and then the /home hacker. Oh, and I'm gonna show you something which is very useful in Linux. When we press -H, we can press the tab button to autocomplete what we want to type, which makes it very useful if we want to type something very long. And so here we just tap H and press tab, and we can see this is the absolute path to this folder. If we press enter here, we'll go back to the folder we were in. Let's say we want to go to the desktop folder by using the absolute path. So when we type cd/home, we should type /home /hacker/desktop, which you do have to type in uppercase because Linux is case sensitive. So if we were to type desktop here without a capital D, you will get an error. It will say no such file or directory. And when we create an uppercase D, we will get in the folder without an error. If we type ls here, we will see a readme file. This is the desktop, which is equivalent to, as you can see, there is a readme file inside of here. And we can also just press on the desktop and it will show us the same files. So we can change a directory by typing the absolute path. But we can also change directory. So let's go back to the directory we were in. And we press ls, so we can see all the folders again. And we can just press CD and then desktop to enter the desktop folder. And this is done by entering the relative path. So it means it will enter the directory from the directory you are currently working in. So when we press ls here, we are also in the desktop folder. And we can also use ... to go up one folder. So we've entered the desktop folder, but to return to the folder or the directory, which is one level up from where we are, we can enter ... So I'm going to show you. If we press print working directory now, you can see we are in the /home /hacker/desktop. So we are inside hacker. If we press ... we will go up by one directory, which is hacker. So if we do cd ... press enter and press pwd now, we can see we are in the /home /hacker directory and not the desktop. So we went up one folder. If we do again cd ... and press pwd, we are in the home. So this brings you up one folder. And if we do again cd ... we are pwd in the root. So let's go back. So I'm gonna show you. If we press ls here, these are all the directories which are in the root directory. Let's say we go to cd home and press ls here. We can see there's only one directory here. And we cannot, for example, we want to go to the etc folder in the root folder, but because we are in the home directory now, if we do cd etc, we cannot enter it because it's not in our relative path, it's not in our current directory. So we have to be in the root to enter this using the relative path. So if we change directory to the root directory, we type in pwd and press cd etc now, it will work because we were in the root directory and we can enter the directory which is relative to our path. However, if you type the absolute path, so let's go back to our /home folder and press pwd, you can see we are in our home and we do not see the etc folder here. But we can still enter that folder by entering the absolute path. So if we start with a / and etc, it will automatically go to this folder because we are typing the entire path. And this will work.